Hello and welcome to Social Media Weekly episode 2nd December 2020. Social Media Weekly is brought to you by Virtual Peddlers Marketing, rehumanizing your marketing experience. My name is Sean. This week's news, Facebook buys up Customer to improve chatbots. Customer with a K, that's the name of a company with a C. Customer is an AI-based customer query system that either responds automatically or reroutes messages to human service agents. It's essentially a more advanced version of Facebook's current chatbot system that businesses can set up for communication with existing and potential clients. The key is for basic customer queries to be easily handled by automation, while complex questions be directly diverted to a human being. Facebook will likely incorporate the advanced chatbot system onto Messenger and WhatsApp for Business. I don't know about you, but in our experience, customers usually do not have the patience to deal with chatbots. Maybe because most chatbots are built too basically, or maybe because customers don't have the patience to jump through multiple hoops and prefer to speak with human beings right off the bat. Like chatbots today are the new version of, I don't know what they call it, phone bots, the one where, welcome to Virtual Peddlers Marketing. Press 1 for English, tekan 2 untuk bahasa Malaysia, and continues, right? And you have to keep waiting for them to press this, jumping through hoops and getting filtered down to different departments and different things before you need to speak to someone. And sometimes you have a very technical question that may or may not be in the list of FAQs, and you have to go through the entire FAQ to figure out if it's in there or not, then realize it's not in there, and then only be allowed to speak to a human being. I don't know about you. Chatbots are a little bit of a hit and miss. I think my prediction is I may be wrong, because in my experience, maybe all the chatbots that are set up may not be good enough to give me what I want, to give me a good experience. But in my experience, and a lot of our customers and clients' experiences, based on the stories they tell, chatbots are not the kind of thing that they want to explore. So I don't know. Maybe in other parts of the world, chatbots are doing better than here. Then yeah, it's a goodbye for Facebook. Facebook will bring Indian cricket content to watch, as in Facebook Watch. Facebook has signed a new deal to air exclusive content around the Indian cricket team's current tour in Australia. This would include events and matches that will be shown directly from Facebook Watch. Historically, both Facebook and Twitter have tried bringing live sporting events to social media, but they were not very successful. One of the main reasons is that they are not worth the investment, possibly because airing rights to sporting events are still very expensive. Right. There are companies who own rights to sporting events like football, basketball, American football, and a whole lot, right? So while they're doing it, the entire time they have been enjoying the benefits of making a lot of money from selling these rights or renting these rights or whatever, because traditionally television were the ones that pay the money, right? And they make a lot of money because television is more streamlined, more people are watching it, and they get to make more money from advertisements. And those kind of advertisements are not the advertisements that companies like Facebook and Twitter are going for now, because Facebook and Twitter are going for smaller size advertisers as low as $1 a day, whereas television go for very big advertisement ones that goes up to about a couple of million $US for that 10 minutes, for all the attention that they are raking up. So it is a little bit of a transition period. On one end, Facebook and Twitter needs to be able to create more demand in order for the price of these advertisements to skyrocket and become equivalent, if not more than the value that sporting events have been charging or television channels have been paying for in the past. In which, if this is the case, then social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and all that will need to continue putting in money and pouring money into the investment to a point where the rate of demand reaches the cost of these sporting events. On the other end of the spectrum, sporting events rights owners need to also consider reducing their price as well, because they need to appeal to the younger crowds. At this point of time, the younger people are no longer watching their shows. They're no longer watching football as much as we used to watch when we were younger, right? You ask any millennial or a Gen Z kid today, they will not be able to tell you what's their favorite football team, because they don't even know how football is played. They don't care, right? And they are at this point where if sporting events rights owners need to continue to grow the viewer base, they need to do something about pushing the content straight up to social media users, which are primarily the younger people at this point. It's either that or they will end up with a greatly declined viewership as the population ages. And when that happens, the sporting events rights owners will be the one that will end up begging social media platforms for airtime slots. Facebook's cryptocurrency projects changes name again. In an attempt to move Facebook's Libra association further away from their own Libra cryptocurrency, the company has renamed it as Diem, like Carpe Diem. Facebook initially announced their own currency, Libra, which will be used in their Facebook and WhatsApp Pay platforms and also other platforms as well. They then created an association to manage the cryptocurrency, which is supposedly independent from their currency, called the Libra Association. So then here we have the Libra cryptocurrency and the Libra Association. So no matter how much Facebook says that the two are not the same, and the association is chaired by members of companies, representative of companies that are outside of Facebook, people don't tend to believe it. Countries don't believe it either. They still feel as if there is a certain control that Facebook has and a certain influence that Facebook has. And that is why the association and the currency itself is not really getting a positive feedback. So they thought that they could change the name to Diem and it will help. When the association was first announced, major prominent names backed it, including Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and a lot. After many regions and many countries said they will not support the company's currency, these major backers started to drop out. So here we have an association who is chaired by, who have members of smaller companies, smaller fintech companies, smaller financing companies without the bigger ones, and not a lot of support from the country members. So they feel as if there needs to be a little bit of a restructuring of name and association and branding in order to detach Diem from Libra. So here are the name of the new range of products. Libra currency is still called Libra. The digital wallet is now called Novi. The independent association overseeing the currency is now called Diem. We hope I don't know if I am for Facebook making it, because as a person with an economics background, I do see the dystopian possibilities of the largest social media platform in the world also having control over transactions and eventually currency, and possibly even taking the monetary control away from a country's power and from a country's central banks. And a lot of countries will lose a lot of control, and when it goes down to giving the control to one of the not necessarily the best company in terms of ethics and all that in the past, that becomes questionable. Salesforce buys Slack. The most renowned CRM platform just bought the most renowned enterprise chat platform for a whopping $27.7 billion. Salesforce recently announced that their annual revenue passed $20 billion, opening up possibilities for this purchase. Slack, on the other hand, lost around 40% of its revenue value since it went public in April 2019. This put the chat app in a sweet position for acquisition. This move puts Salesforce on par with rivals Microsoft Teams. And since Salesforce has been in the CRM business far longer, perhaps now even gotten a little edge ahead of Microsoft. I think it's nice that Salesforce is getting Slack and moving into the future, because in my experience with Salesforce, it isn't exactly the best CRM platform to use. There are better ones. There are more nimble ones. Salesforce seems a little bit clunky, and it's like they have been around for so long that they're stuck between the legacy and they want to be new. So there is this web that is intertwined that is making it difficult for them to do what they want, because there are people who are not willing to move forward. And those people are most primarily their enterprise clients. Moving Slack into this will kind of give Salesforce a refresh in terms of giving it a younger look, because Salesforce does look a little bit dated. And maybe that will help come up with a new pricing tier, which is a bit more startup friendly. And the entire CRM communication that revolves around Slack, which is the prime communication platform, that helps make communication more casual and more streamlined and more efficient as well, compared to how they are doing all this reporting system in the past. Yeah, Salesforce could be good. That's all for Social Media Weekly this week. Social Media Weekly podcast is available on Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and we post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. This is Social Media Weekly episode 2nd December 2020. My name is Sean. Stay safe. Wear a mask all the time. Au revoir.